Welcome to Tired Mommy Revival. Hey mama, are you running on coffee fumes? Feeling like brain fog, fatigue, and anxiety are running the show? Do you wake up dreading the day ahead, already overwhelmed by the endless to-do list and unsure how you'll make it through? Do you long for the energy to enjoy motherhood and care for yourself, but feel stuck and unsure where to start? Let me remind you of something life-changing. You were created for more energy, more clarity, more joy. Hi, I'm Jerusha, certified holistic wellness coach, wife and mom to 2 wild boys and 1 baby girl in heaven. I know the exhaustion you're feeling because I've been there, barely making it through the day, relying on coffee and chocolate to survive, and wondering why nothing I tried ever made me feel better. Then, God stepped in and revealed a powerful truth. A woman's body is beautifully and uniquely designed to thrive. When we align with how God created us, we can boost our energy, bust through fatigue, and step into the vibrant, joy-filled life He has for us. Mama, I'm living proof that it's possible. These days, I wake up refreshed, nourish my body with intention, and navigate the chaos of motherhood with patience and peace. Most days. And I want to help you do the same. If you're ready to swap exhaustion for energy, brain fog for clarity, and guilt for grace, you're in the right place. Each week, we'll dive into practical strategies, faith-filled truths, and empowering tools to renew your health, body, soul, and spirit. Are you ready for this? Let's do it, mama. When we're starting a wellness journey, and especially when we're leading our family through one, it's tempting to think the first thing we need to do is just put more good food on the plate, right? I mean, eat more vegetables, everybody. Done. Problem solved. Except, no. Nope. If you've ever been the mom who proudly plopped down a plate of beautiful roasted broccoli, only to have your kid look at you like you've just served them a live tarantula, you know what I'm talking about. I want to challenge you with this thought. Your wellness journey begins in the mind long before it shows up on your plate. You could make the most delicious gourmet vegetables on the planet. You could grow them yourself. You could drizzle them with the fanciest olive oil from a little boutique in Italy, and your kids still might not want to touch them. Have you heard that saying, you could be the juiciest, most delicious peach in the world, and there will still be someone who doesn't like peaches? The point is, it's not always about the peach. Well, mama, in this case, it's not always about your cooking. Sometimes it's about the way your kids think about food. Here's the thing. Every home already has a food culture. Yours does, mine does. Whether you've ever sat down and defined it or not, it's there. It's in the background, shaping how you talk about food, what you buy, how you serve it, and how everyone responds to it. As the parent, part of your job is to uncover that unspoken food culture, both the one you grew up with and the one you've been unintentionally building in your own home. And then decide if it needs a makeover. Because here's the truth. If you can create a healthy mindset about food, you can create healthy plates with way less resistance. But if your food culture is fighting you, that's when dinner becomes the battlefield. And mama, that is a recipe for burnout. And I don't know about you, but I don't have the energy for daily dinner battles. So today, before we talk about what to eat, we're going to talk about the mind work, those foundational mindset shifts that will set your family up for wellness success before you ever touch the grocery cart. Here's where we start. If we're going to pursue a life of wellness, we first have to believe this deep down. The health of our body is important. Not important in the look at me, I fit in these jeans from high school way. Important because God gave you this body for a purpose. Your body is the way you live out your calling. It's the vessel you use to serve God here on earth. When you say yes to God's plan for your life, you're saying yes to an assignment that requires your mind, body, and spirit all working together. And God designed us as body, soul, and spirit, not in neat separate boxes. They are deeply connected. Your body affects your mind affects your choices, your spirit affects your health in ways science is still catching up on. I could do an entire series just on those connections, and you know what? One day I might. But for today, just hear this. When you take care of your body, you're not just being healthy, you are honoring God. And here's where it gets personal. As moms, we have this extra layer of influence. We're not just figuring this out for ourselves, we're creating the culture our kids will grow up in. And let me tell you, that's not just a lot of pressure, it's also an incredible opportunity. When you build a healthy food culture in your home, you're shaping the way your kids relate to food for the rest of their lives. You're giving them the tools to focus better in school. You're supporting more stable moods. Yes, nutrition really can help with that, although toddlers are still toddlers and they will keep us humble. And you'll also empower them to make food choices that will help them live in the fullness of what God has for them. You might raise kids who grow into adults that like to eat their vegetables and are willing to try new foods and know how to balance healthy and fun. They can be confident reading food labels, cooking meals they enjoy, and living free from many food-induced illnesses. And most importantly, they'll be equipped to serve God without being held back by avoidable health struggles. I don't know about you, but I didn't grow up learning these things, which is why it's been my mission to give my kids a healthy food culture in our home, one that promotes lifelong success and builds a legacy of wellness that they can pass on to their kids someday too. And Mama, it's my desire to help you do this too. There's no one-size-fits-all plan. We're all unique in our needs, our culture, and our readiness for change. But you can start right now with one small step and change the trajectory of your family's health. That's not just a menu change, that's legacy work. So let's get into the mindset shifts. The first mindset shift I want to encourage you to help your kids develop is a growth mentality around change. This is basically the opposite of a deprivation mentality. A deprivation mentality says, we can't have that, or that's off limits forever. And honestly, a lot of us fall into that when we start a new eating plan or a diet. We go all in or we're all out. But here's the thing. For most families, and especially for kids, the healthiest way to grow in wellness is to take a balanced approach. You want your kids to learn that there's room for enjoying food and still taking care of their bodies. Deprivation says, we don't eat that anymore. Growth says, let's make a better version of that. Here's what that might sound like in your home. Instead of, we don't eat Eggo waffles anymore. Let's take our favorite waffles and make a version that makes our bodies healthy and strong. Instead of, we do not eat candy. Try, candy isn't something we eat every day, but we can enjoy it once in a while as a special treat. A few days ago, my youngest saw a coupon sheet that we got in the mail for a donut shop, and he said, Mom, we haven't had donuts in forever. Why don't we get donuts? And I told him, well, donuts are not very good for our bodies, so we don't eat them all the time. But they are yummy, so we enjoy them every once in a while as a treat. And you know what? He got it. He understood. Okay, it's important to be healthy. But also, yes, donuts are delicious. Because we've been using this kind of language for years, he accepted it without a fight. That's what I want for my kids and yours too. I never wanted to create a home where my kids felt like they had to escape and binge on all the foods I never allowed them to have. Instead, I want to teach them what's good for us and what's not so great for us, and how to enjoy the not so great things in moderation. And just as importantly, I don't want to introduce shame over food choices. Because here's the truth: shame doesn't motivate change, it just damages our relationship with food. It's so much more empowering to give them food freedom and nurture a love of healthy foods at the same time. Let's move on to mindset shift number 2, which is connect wellness to their desires. As the leader of your family, you may have already decided that living healthy is non negotiable for you. You're committed to staying the course because it's too important to let go. But here's the thing: your kids aren't starting from the same place you are. They don't automatically get it. For them, food is still mostly about what tastes good in the moment. So, part of your job is helping them make a mindset shift from we eat what tastes good to we eat to fuel our bodies so we can be healthy, strong, and ready for the things we love. One of the most powerful ways to help them make that shift is to connect healthy eating to their inner desires. I'll give you an example from my house. I have boys. My boys want to be big and strong, like daddy. They want to run fast, jump high, and have big muscles. So when I talk to them about food, I link it to those goals. Spinach is so good for you. It helps your muscles grow big and strong. Oranges have lots of vitamin C. That's a super vitamin that helps you stay healthy so you can keep playing and stay strong. Carrots make your eyes really healthy. You'll be able to see so good. My son might say, like a superhero? And I would tell him, yeah, you may not be able to shoot lasers out of your eyes, but you will see so good. Now, those kinds of statements work really well for younger kids, but my older son, he's different. He's focused on different things like being more sharp in class or having energy for his day and feeling good while he's doing the things he loves. So I'll say things like, eating a good breakfast helps you think more clearly in math class. Or, healthy food keeps your energy up so you can stay focused and not feel tired halfway through the day. Whatever your kids care about, whether it's sports, school, art, dance, playing outside, the health of their bodies will help them do it better and enjoy it more. And that truth doesn't change as they grow. The food that helps them play their best now will also help them fulfill the call of God in their lives in the future. There's probably something that helped motivate you to make this change in the first place. Maybe you want to lose weight. Maybe you want to feel better. You want to have energy and bust the brain fog that you struggle with every day. Maybe you want your mental health to be better. Or maybe you have a family member who's been sick and you see that you don't want to fall into the same patterns. You have reasons that are helping you motivate the changes that you're making in your life. And so we have to help our kids get to the same conclusion. We have to get on their level, connect to their desires, and show them how eating healthy can benefit their lives right where they're at in their season. Okay, let's go to mindset shift number 3, which is cultivate awareness around food. One of the most powerful tools we can give our kids, and honestly, even ourselves, is learning to pay attention to how food makes us feel. Here's the thing: most of us don't even realize how blah we feel until we take something out of our diet and suddenly feel like a brand new human. It's like you didn't even know your normal was actually not great. This was definitely me. I've had a sweet tooth my whole life. For years, my mornings started with sugary coffee creamer and my nights ended with ice cream. And yes, there was plenty of sugar in between. But I couldn't figure out why I was tired all the time, why I had brain fog, why my mood would swing like a toddler on a playground sometimes, and why my anxiety was through the roof. The truth, my body and my brain were working overtime just to function, which meant they were stealing the energy I needed for patience, joy, and peace. And let's be honest, those fruits of the Spirit are already in short supply when you've got little ones. Then I cut sugar completely for a couple of months, and wow, the fog lifted. I felt lighter, clearer, calmer, and I realized, oh, so this is what my brain is supposed to feel like. After that, every time I have sugar, I can instantly feel the difference. Headaches, achy joints, an energy crash that has me wanting a nap by 3 p.m., trouble sleeping, and if I keep it up for more than a few days, my anxiety starts to creep back in too. That's when I realized awareness is everything. So now, when my kids have a treat, maybe a fast food run or cake and extra sweets at a birthday party, and later they say, my stomach hurts or I have a headache, I use it as a quick teaching moment. Hey, we really enjoyed that treat earlier, but our bodies aren't used to eating food like that anymore. And now we're not feeling so great. This is not about shaming them, it's about connecting the dots. What we eat has consequences, good ones and bad ones. When we eat nutrient dense food, we feel awesome. When we eat junk, we feel, well, not awesome. Sometimes right away and sometimes over time. Here's my favorite story about this. There was a season where my son was having terrible nights, tossing, turning, just not sleeping well, and then he woke up grumpy and sluggish throughout the day too. We had already learned that taking melatonin regularly was not healthy, so I started looking for natural ways to help his body relax at bedtime. I was over here researching herbal teas and magnesium gummies like a detective on a case. And then the plot twist. We found out he'd been sneaking candy after bedtime. Good grief. Mystery solved. No wonder he couldn't sleep and woke up the next morning acting like someone stole his blanket and all his happiness. That turned into another awareness lesson. Hey, buddy, the reason you're not sleeping well and why you're tired, cranky, and struggling to focus in school is because your body doesn't like eating right before bed. And sugar, that's one of the worst things to have at that time. He had never made that connection before, but once he understood, it clicked. And now we can look back and laugh at the great candy caper of that year. And here's the thing, our kids learn this faster when they see us making those connections too. That means we've got to model it for them. We can say things like, when I eat sugar, my knees ache and my head hurts. So I'm just going to have a little bit. When I eat a healthy breakfast, I have so much energy and I can think clearly for work, grocery shopping, or keeping up with you guys. The more you live it out loud and show them that healthy matters to you, the more likely they are to take it seriously. They may not jump on board overnight, but you are planting seeds. And one day you'll see those seeds grow into real awareness and maybe even a kid who chooses veggies on their own. As you move your family through these changes and start to build this different mindset and food culture in your home, there's one tip that I have that is mostly for you, mama, as the parent. There is one really powerful mindset that is important for you, not only to establish and grow this culture in your home, but really to save your sanity too. If you want to know the most powerful tool in your wellness toolkit, spoiler, it's not kale. It's consistency. Consistency is your superpower, mama. No matter how you decide to move toward a healthier lifestyle, Above all else, choose to be consistent. Consistency is your superpower for change. We actually talked about this back in episode 20, the power of small habits and this life-changing mindset. A habit you keep is worth 1,000 habits that you start but never establish. Let me say that one more time. A habit you keep is worth 1,000 habits that you start but never establish. Let's be real. It's one thing to be consistent for yourself. It's another thing entirely when you've got a toddler melting down because you won't give them their usual breakfast, or a moody preteen stomping through the kitchen announcing that they're not eating this because it's not what they're used to. That's when challenge gets a capital C. And that's also when you'll be tempted to go back to the old way just to keep the peace. I get it. I've been there so many times, Mama. I've been in the trenches with you. But from all the ups and downs over the years, here's what I've learned. When we compromise in the moment just to avoid the conflict, we send a signal that says, if you push hard enough, you'll get your way. And kids, being the brilliant little humans that they are, will remember that. Next time, they'll push even harder. Before you know it, you've got a snowball effect that makes the transition 10 times harder on you. Now, that doesn't mean that you bulldoze over your kids' needs or personalities. You know your children best. You know when it's a moment to stand firm and when it's a moment to offer some flexibility. This is not about perfection. It's more about a pattern. Because here's the thing, consistency builds trust, and trust builds buy-in. When your kids see that we're consistently making healthier choices, showing up and doing our best to grow, over time, they'll start to get on board. And eventually, they may even partner with us in this journey. Our bodies themselves are wired for consistency. Your heart beats in rhythm. Your lungs breathe in and out without you thinking about it. And your brain thrives on patterns. Those patterns are called neural pathways, basically the mental roads your brain travels over and over again. So right now, maybe your child has a well-paved highway in their brain called Fruity Pebbles for breakfast. But if you start serving spinach chocolate chip muffins often enough, eventually that new road gets smoother and easier to travel, while the old one starts to fade. Their taste buds and expectations shift to match the new normal. And here's the biggest takeaway. Consistency does not require perfection. It simply requires showing up more often than not. If you get off track, just get back on track the next day or even the next meal. Because every time you come back, you're reinforcing the path you actually want your family to walk. So this is twofold. One, it's going to help establish a habit in your home instead of just introducing something and then letting it fall by the wayside because you weren't fully committed. And two, this is going to save your sanity, Mama, because you don't want to make the battle any harder than it already is. So if you're going to take it on, stay the course and stay committed even when it's hard, and know that it will pay off over time because you are establishing a firm foundation for your family's wellness. All right, Mama, before we wrap up, let's do a quick recap of the mindset shifts we talked about today, because building a healthy food culture starts here, before it ever shows up on the plate. Number one is value the legacy you're building. Remember, you're not just changing what's for dinner tonight, you're shaping your kids' relationship with food for life. Number two is adopt a growth mentality. Shift from, we can't have this, to how can we make this better for our bodies? That language matters. Number three is connect wellness to your kids' desires. Link healthy foods to what they care about, whether it's running faster, thinking clearly in class, or having superhero vision. Number four is cultivate awareness without shame. Help your kids and yourself notice how food makes them feel, the good and the not so good, and use that awareness to guide choices. Number 5 is be consistent. Consistency builds trust, and trust builds buy-in. Even when you get off track, come right back at the next meal. Over time, this will create a new normal. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. Every small, intentional choice you make is shaping your home's food culture, and those little choices will add up to something your kids will carry with them for a lifetime. Everything we've talked about in today's episode and the things that we're going to share in the next one are things that I wish somebody had explained to me from the beginning. Our personal journey was so long and so hard sometimes. And when I sat down to really think about what transpired over the years, I realized it was so much different than just serving up vegetables at a meal. There was so much that went into it, and this mindset shifts that we kind of stumbled upon in a really messy way and eventually figured out are the things that I'm sharing with you now to hopefully make the journey a little bit easier, a little more enjoyable, and a lot more hope-filled. So here's your homework this week. Pick one mindset shift to focus on. Change your language, connect food to their goals, or help them notice how they're feeling after eating. These small steps done over and over will create a food culture that blesses your family for years to come. Next week, I'm sharing one of my favorite mom hacks for building a healthy food culture, and it starts before 9 a.m. We'll talk about why breakfast is the most strategic place to begin when you're making changes, and how to sneak in more nutrition without battles, and why serving veggies in the morning could be the secret weapon you didn't know you needed. You might be surprised at how simple this shift can completely transform the way your kids, and even the adults in your home, view vegetables for good. Mama, I hope this episode blessed you and reminded you that you were beautifully and uniquely made to thrive. If today's conversation spoke to your heart, I'd love for you to take a moment to leave a rating and review. Not only does it encourage me, but it helps more tired mamas discover the hope, healing, and energy they've been searching for. You're not in this alone. Make sure to hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. Together, we'll reclaim your energy, renew your health, and revive your spirit, one step at a time. Until next time, remember, you are beautifully designed by God to live with energy, clarity, and joy. You're not just surviving, mama. You're stepping into the vibrant life you were created for. I'm cheering you on.